this is Tommy, who owns a condominium here in the Louisville area. And after he moved out of the condo, he rented it to a friend. So before you do that, anybody who owns a condo, Chuck, just kind of give a word of advice about what you need to do before you rent a condo.
I'm not. Oh, you want to make sure that the condo allows it. That'd be the first thing I'd look for.
That is it. Good job.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say there's a lot of things you should look for, but double check with your condo.
So apparently someone in the condo building that Tommy owns a condo in found out about the rental and reported him to the condo association owners or association. And so the HOA is now charging Tommy $50 per day for each day the unit is rented without HOA consent. And apparently there is a waiting list, as Tommy found out. So folks, be aware of this. There can be a waiting list to get HOA approval, and that he is apparently at the bottom of the list. And we'll talk with Randy in a moment why there's a waiting list. And he's wondering why he needs a approval, and is it legal for the HOA to charge him for the money of $50 per day? Chuck, we start with you.
Yeah. First off, if the rules and regulations of the condo, the bylaws, the master deed, all that, if they say no renting, then there's no renting. When you sign the deed, you're signing basically a contract with the HOA saying, yeah, I'm going to abide by all of these rules. Okay, those are binding. So if they are binding and he's failing to follow them, well, then there are fines. It just depends on how the documents are written up. Some of the documents will allow you to do fines. Some will allow you to foreclose, and then you just go from there. Personally, I think maybe $50 a day for a contract that he might not necessarily be able to get out of might be a bit egregious. There's some relief that could possibly be had there. I've fought a few condo associations who decided, oh, hey, yeah, minor violation, let's foreclose. But yeah, you got to look that up. And so if it's in the rules and regulations, yeah, you're stuck.
You're in trouble. So
yeah.
So he's being charged. So you're saying the summer leave. So would you, if you were the attorney, and I don't know that you do this, would you take on the board and maybe try to reach a compromise that would be acceptable, because he is tied to a lease to a friend,
See,
right?
You've got a couple of things here. What it sounds like is that there's a list that allows that you can get on to be allowed to do this. So if they are preventing him from getting an approval, but yet charging him $50 a day, that just doesn't pass any smell test. Okay. If they allow other people to do it, but they're just not allowing him to do it, well, that also could be an issue. Okay. If it's just straight up not allowed, we never let anybody do it, that's a little more difficult. But if they are saying, oh yeah, we'll review it and give you our decision, but we're going to charge you $50 a day for the next 6 months that we don't do anything, it doesn't sound right.
So you might be wondering, folks, why would a condo association prohibit somebody from renting out the condo in the first place? And that's why we go over to Randy Rocky Swan Financial. You want to explain what the reason is, but behind all of this?
Oh, yeah. So if over 40% of the units are in a rental program, a lot of times you cannot get permanent financing on it through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and you have to get financing through other sources, and that's very, very difficult.
Which means, folks, it makes it much more difficult for you as a condo owner to sell it, because typically, am I right, Randy, FHA loans, which are the ones that are really restrictive on this, that would prevent them from the... So in other words, if Randy says 40% of the condos in your building or in your home, in the condo complex, are rented, I think it's 40% or more, FHA will not allow their loan to go through. And is that because they think renters don't take care of the condo as much as a homeowner? Is that the premise behind all of it?
I don't think it's that as much as they have a harder time understanding if it's going to continue to go up in value. That's what I would assume, because then they have value issues. Okay, if they do have that happen, and if people don't own the home, there's a possibility it could deteriorate and things of that nature. I'm not knocking renters. I want to make that very clear.
Right.
But I think that's what they would assume, and that's only the assumption I'm saying, that I think Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac has obviously had a history on it. If it's rental on a condo situation, a multi-unit, there's just a chance of having depreciation. Probably they've done their algorithms on it and it didn't work, so that's why they decided to institute that rule.
So Chuck and Randy, let me just carry this forward 1 second here. Tell me if I'm thinking the same way, that maybe I'm off track. But I've got to presume, let's just say at the moment, the Randy Rocky condo complex, we'll just pull that name, has 20% renters. And of those 20, let's say 18% have FHA loans. Now, a couple of more people climb on board. They're now renting, and now we're at 40%. And now we move up to 41%. Now FHA saying, no, we're not going to allow any more rentals. We're not going to do any more loans, mortgages in the Randy Rocky condo complex. The people who are FHA owners already now are at a loss because they can't sell. Right?
Am I correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
So isn't the government shooting themselves in the foot by doing that? Aren't they prohibiting the people who already have FHA loans from potentially wanting to sell and get as much money as possible by imposing this arbitrary 40%?
Right.
Okay.
And I'm almost positive it's 40. It might be a little different percentage.
Yeah.
I want to make that very clear.
It goes up and down. I know that, right.
And also conventional is the same way. They have restrictions as well.
Yeah.
And condos are very difficult, and questionnaires. The questionnaires get into a whole nother can of worms. If they owe anything on back taxes, or if they're getting sued, or they're doing a repair, and I don't even want to get into what's going on in Florida.
Well, and
with what happened
with the condos with the collapse.
Yeah,
and Chuck,
it's just
we all know that that's happening here because there are balconies that are in big disrepair, and there are homeowners or condo owners waiting right now to hear what the enormous assessment could be. I talked to somebody this week. They're thinking it could be between $5,000 and $13,000 per condo that has a balcony that needs to be repaired properly.
Oh, I just had a friend in Delray.
Yeah.
With 2 years, they had $115,000 in assessments in 2 years.
Oh, that's crazy.